Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So let's begin with Kirtan. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, 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 Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Radha Madhava Radhe, Jaya Radha Madhava Radhe, Jaya Gauranitai, Jai Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jai Gauranitai, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Gurudev, Jai Gurudev, Jai Gurudev, Jai Gurudev. Harinam Sankirtan Yagya ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya,
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya,
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjanashalakya Chakshurunmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine. Hare Krishna. So welcome to this Sunday Bhagavad Gita class. We are reading chapter 13. Nature, the enjoyer and consciousness. So as of now, we discuss about Kshetra, Kshetragya, knowledge. These three elements, these 3 points we have discussed. Kshetra means, what is Kshetra?
Body.
Body. Field, that is body. And who is the knower of the body? Soul. And
The
super soul. Kshetragya means knower of the field. So soul and super soul both are knower of the field. And what is knowledge? We discuss about the knowledge.
Knowing about soul and super soul.
Yes.
What is the difference between soul and body?
Yes, knowing about soul, knowing about super soul, knowing about this body, this is called knowledge. And we also discussed different elements of knowledge, the culture of knowledge, or the process of knowledge. So 20 elements we discuss: humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity. This is verse number 10, 11, 12. So there are 20 elements. And out of these 20 elements, there are 2 most important elements. So these 2 elements, especially you can say this is the bhakti element. But another 18 elements, that is the knowledge element. So what are those 2 most important elements? And one most important element out of these 20 is devotional service. All these are good qualities like humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance. So many qualities are there. And devotional service, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, Krishna is saying. This is the topmost element, or this one quality will help us to develop all other quality. And another one, most important, is approaching a bona fide spiritual master. So out of these 20, these 2 elements, most important elements, approaching a bona fide spiritual master and constant and unalloyed devotion to Lord. So these are the most important elements. If we have these 2, simply approaching a spiritual master, then definitely he will give us knowledge, and based on that we will engage ourselves in loving devotional service. So now this is knowledge and the elements of knowledge. And what is the object of knowledge? What is the object of knowledge? Why to receive knowledge? Object of knowledge, whatever knowledge we are receiving, what is the purpose?
To get Krishna consciousness.
Yes, to become Krishna conscious, or to know the soul and super soul. Both. Knowing this means knowing. There are two ways of knowing. I mean, two. We can say one is theoretical understanding, and one is realization. Now we know that we are soul, and there is a super soul within. So that is, of course, knowledge. But real knowledge means when we realize it. Realization means then we will be situated in our natural constitutional position, serving the Lord. That is our position. We will be always engaged in service, in loving devotional service. So that is. So in next verses, like 13 onwards, so there is a discussion about soul and super soul. This is the object of knowledge, knowing about the soul. And about soul we had detailed discussion, means from the very beginning, especially in chapter 2, we had a very detailed discussion about. So Lord is saying, I shall now explain the knowable, knowing which you will taste the eternal. Brahman, the spirit, beginningless and subordinate to me, lies beyond the cause and effect of this material world. So specifically here is talking about soul. And what is the nature of soul? Soul is beginningless. There's no birth, no death. Soul is beginningless. And Lord is saying, subordinate to me. Soul is subordinate to super soul. Right? We are not the controller. We are not the master. We are servant. No? So that is what the relationship with Krishna lies beyond the cause and effect of this material world. Actually, the soul does not belong to this material world, but due to conditioning, because we have been in this material world from time immemorial, and because of conditioning, because of false identity, false ego, we think that we are this body, I am this body. This is illusion, this is ignorance. Otherwise, Lord is saying, the soul does not belong to this. The soul does not affected by the cause and effect of this material world. Actually, we belong to the spiritual world. Now in 14th verse onward,
No, I have a
uh,
question.
yeah,
When you say Brahman here, it means super soul or the soul here?
both.
Both.
Brahman means like soul is also known as Brahman, and super soul is also
And
Brahman.
in this verse referring to both.
Both.
Means
Means
both are
we have to see the
Krishna.
context.
Brahman is who knows everything.
No, that is Brahman.
That is Brahman.
Brahman means Brahmeti Janati, who is Brahman. Brahman means that is the qualification. But here Brahman means the spirit.
Spirit.
And the spirit means super soul is also spiritual and soul is also spiritual. But the difference, we know that super soul is master and we are servant. We are insignificant, but super soul is the supreme personality, I mean supreme. So that is the difference. But both, because being a part and parcel of Brahman, we are also Brahman.
Right.
The same quality is there. Now, super soul, more detail about super soul is there. Like, what are the characteristics, the qualities? Because super soul is the object of knowledge. The super soul means we know that one aspect of Krishna only. Knowing God is the purpose or the object of knowledge, objective of knowledge. So, different qualities. What he's saying, everywhere are his hands and legs, his eyes, heads, and faces, and he has ears everywhere. Means super soul, Paramatma is everywhere, in everyone's heart. So he is all pervading, right? Actually, if you see our senses, our hands, legs, everything, actually it belongs to God. Krishna is Rishikesha. He is the master of all the senses. So through all of us even, Lord is expanded everywhere. So personally here, like especially as Paramatma, Lord is expanded everywhere. In this way, the super soul exists, pervading everything. So either living entity or atoms, Paramatma, he is in every atom, in every living entity. The super soul is the original source of all senses. All senses means, like we said, Krishna is the source of, he is the Rishikesh, master of all senses. Yet, he is without senses. How to understand?
Transcendental.
Without, transcendental. His body is transcendental, not like us. We have material senses, but God is like he is having transcendental senses. He is unattached, although he is the maintainer of all living beings. So everything is being maintained by the Lord only, but he is not attached. He is detached. So these are the qualities, whatever quality we are, this is super soul quality, right? And being a part and parcel of super soul, we also have these qualities, but now we are in ignorant state. We have been attached to this material world, material qualities. He transcends the modes of nature. God is Trigunatit. He is not under the clutches of Maya. He is free. He is liberated. Yes.
We say one thing कि मैंने कृष्ण इंद्रियों से परे है, he doesn't have, लेकिन जो भाव होते प्रेम वात्सल्य वो तो वो अपने भक्तों को दिखाते हैं, जो असुर होते हैं उनके प्रति, तो वो हम कहते हैं कि ना वो फील करते हैं, ना वो उन सबसे परे हैं, फिर भी वो प्रेम वो ये कैसे हमें
The good question. Means it seems like Lord is partial.
I didn't
But
get it. What was
her,
that question?
her question is especially that he is equal to all. He is, but here we see that he loves his devotees, but he hates demons or he is killing others. So if Lord is not partial, he should be equal to everyone, either bad people or good people. But we see that.
नहीं जब कहते हैं कि इंद्रियां जो हम माने साधारण मनुष्य जो महसूस करता है वो इंद्रियों के थ्रू ही देखता है, समझता है. इमोशंस आर ऑल कंट्रोल्ड बाय द सेंसेस, एंड इफ लॉर्ड इज
Okay.
तुम्हारा भी टाइम कुछ
What she's saying is, if Lord is not having senses, then how can he express emotions? We see Lord expressing emotions. As
No, that's what. See, if it comes to senses, that's what we are saying. Lord has senses. But here the sentence we see that he is without senses. It means he is not having material senses. He is having spiritual senses. So let's understand your question first. Yes, Mataji.
लाइक वो हम कहते हैं वो सेंसेस से परे हैं, ना दुख से ना सुख से, yet he shows those emotion in various forms. है ना, वात्सल्य भाव में, प्रेम भाव में, इवन जब वो डेमन्स को वो देते हैं, I mean how is it, इतने contradictory बात है.
No, this is not contradictory. See, understand.
इतना माने everything is there.
No, understand first. The senses and emotions, these two things you're asking about. Lord is he is expressing different emotions, right? So whatever we are experiencing in material world, understand this. Whatever we are experiencing, whatever kind of emotions we have in this material world, everything is where from it is coming. It is coming from a spiritual world only. The only difference is in a spiritual world, all these emotions are in pure form, but in material world that is in contaminated form. So understand this. So if we have emotions here, now the point we are discussing, Lord has form, Lord is personality, he has senses. He is not having material senses, he is having spiritual senses, and he is having all varieties of emotions. And that is what emotions means. It is a expression, expression. So yes, he is expressing different feelings, desires. That is one point. Now what I thought you were asking, now why somewhere he is expressing love, some and he is hating others. So that is another thing. That is the question like partiality. No, but Lord is not partial. It's a reciprocation.
That was wonderful.
It's a reciprocation. Okay. Anyway, so yes, these few points will make it very clear. So he transcends the modes of nature, and at the same time he is the master of all the modes of material nature. So these are the points we have been discussing for long. I mean, so many times we have discussed that he is not under the clutches of Maya. He is the master of material nature, right? So the supreme truth exists outside and inside of all living beings. Yes? The moving and the non-moving. Moving means like we living entities. Supreme truth means super soul, God. He is in everyone's heart. He is there, right? And also non-moving.
Trees.
Trees. Super soul is there in trees, non-moving atoms even. So because he is subtle, he is beyond the power of the material senses to see or to know. The next point is, we cannot see super soul by our material senses. Because he is very subtle, and material senses, material mind, material intelligence can never understand Krishna, can never understand, can never see super soul, right? So although far, far away, he is also near to all. So he's far away from us. Where does he stay? I mean, if we talk about Krishna, he is staying in Golok Vrindavan, right? But as Super Soul, he is very close to us. He is always residing with us. Always with us, so very near to us. Although the Super Soul appears to be divided among all beings, he is never divided. Sometimes people think that, okay, God, he expanded himself into so many forms, now his existence is lost. This is a misconception. People think that, okay, once God was there, okay, then he manifested himself into different varieties and his own existence is lost. I remember Amol Levo, he was giving a very simple analogy to understand it. Suppose a father, if he is producing so many children, so what do you think? The father will not exist after?
Or the sunlight, perhaps.
And that is a funny example to understand. And does not matter how many children you produce, but your existence will always be there, right? Father is always there. Yes, like sun, very nice example. Sunlight, sun is there. Like this example is good for this. Like sun is far away from this place. He is there at one place, but his illumination, his light is spreaded everywhere. Similarly, the Krishna is there at one place. He is there in Golok Vrindavan, Golok Dham, but his energy is, he is as super soul. He is everywhere. In everyone has heart. He is situated as one. Although he is the maintainer of every living entity, it is to be understood that he devours and develops. What is this? Devours and develops all. I mean, he is the maintainer, he is the destroyer. So all these are different qualities of God we are hearing about. So he is the source of light in all luminous objects. He is beyond the darkness of matter and is unmanifested. Yes. He is knowledge. He is knowledge. He is the object of knowledge. And he is the goal of knowledge. He is situated in everyone's heart. Understand this point. Object of knowledge, goal of knowledge. He is knowledge. Means anything, like when we were reading about the different elements of knowledge, then also it is mentioned that anything beyond God consciousness or anything which is not helping us to understand God, to understand ourself, our relationship with God, that is ignorance. So knowledge means knowing about God, knowing about our relationship with God. So means ultimately whatever we are doing, knowledge or any activity, the goal is Krishna. That is the purpose. Thus, the field of activities, knowledge and the knowable have been summarily described by me. So these three things, Krishna is saying he has already explained. Field of activities means body, knowledge and the knowable. Knowable means the object of knowledge have been summarily described by me. Only my devotees can understand this thoroughly and thus attain to my nature. Who can understand this knowledge? Knowledge about the soul, knowledge about the super soul and relationship. Who can understand? Only devotees can understand. Because this we cannot understand with our own mind and intellect.
this verse is very clear in terms of Advaita philosophy is not going to be understandable because they don't visit themselves to devotees of Krishna. It completely refutes the Advaita
Yes,
philosophy.
yes. I mean, in all scriptures, or even means everywhere we are reading this. This one point from the very beginning of Bhagavad Gita, only devotee can. Even Krishna many times
What is the Advaita philosophy?
means oneness. Oneness. Now, right now, because of this conditioning, I'm I have my existence. Once I liberate it, there will be no existence.
Okay.
I will merge into
Merge into
the super soul, no existence. But that is what Krishna is refuting. That na tu evaham jatunasam na tum neme janadipa. There was never a time when you were not there and I was not there. Means
Soul existence of
soul
is
existence is always there. That is also one misconception we should understand. In no situation, in no condition, or in no time, the soul will not exist. We have our individual identity, and super soul having individual identity. God is God, and living entity is living entity. Yeah, both are different. So,
if a person goes to Golok Vrindavan Dham,
Hmm.
if at all, so उनका भी soul होता है. So,
then you will have your spiritual body,
okay, all right.
but you have your own individual identity. You have individual relationship with Krishna, like
और
different.
वो जो कहते हैं प्रभु जी के कॉस्ट ऑफ मनी में जो
हाँ।
प्रभु जो श्री कृष्णा के चेस्ट पे वो है कॉस्ट ऑफ मनी जहाँ पे सारे सोल वहीं पे रहते हैं उसका क्या
That is like Krishna's cost of money. I never heard about it, but this is like when the final.
श्री विष्णु के चेस्ट पे वो होता
Got
है
it. I mean, ultimately understanding that okay, when the final annihilation is there, like when the cosmic manifestation, when the material world is pralaya, that is called. So it is like because all the living entities, when the night of Brahma is there, so that is called pralaya time. So all the living entities, they will rest into Mahavishnu. So Mahavishnu is not, he is an expansion of Krishna. So they will rest over there. They will be there in their own, but it does not mean that they are losing their identity or in existence. They are just lying down over there. And when the creation takes place, again the living entities, based on their previous desires, karmas, they will get different bodies. Dormant state, unmanifested state, again lying down. When the day of Brahma starts,
The
right?
same souls will.
The same souls, they will get different bodies.
Right.
I mean, based on their desire and karmas, they will get bodies, and again the cycle will start. The material world, this way, manifesting, unmanifesting, but it is eternal. Material world is also eternal. It is always there. Only manifesting, unmanifesting. So 12 hours of Brahma, morning time, manifested, and night time, this unmanifested. So only my devotees can understand this thoroughly and thus attain my nature. Attain my nature, what does it mean? Means once we understand our true identity, our relationship with God, then all the qualities we were reading, Trigunatitha, being transcendental to the modes of material nature, because then we understand that I am not this material body, I am soul, I am eternal. There is nothing I do not belong to this material world. Happiness, distress, suffering in this material world. So we will be transcendental to all these things. But this is what we have to, in the morning we were discussing about, this is what we have to experience. I mean, we have to become transcendental. And that is possible when we understand our true relationship with Krishna and practice. Without practice, it will be only theoretical. We will be under the clutches of three modes of material nature, and then we will experience suffering, joy, whatever different, in this material world. So material nature and the living entities should be understood to be beginningless. Now, here onwards, Because now Krishna explained about the soul, super soul, the object of knowledge. And here onwards, now he is going to speak about Prakriti. Because if you remember, there were 6 questions Arjuna asked in the beginning. Kshetra, Kshetragya, Gyan means knowledge, object of knowledge, Prakriti and Purusha. So these are the 6 questions which is being answered in this chapter, 13th chapter. So Prakriti, so material nature and the living entities should be understood to be beginningless. Beginningless, even material nature and the living entities, both. We don't know when we appeared. It's a from time, that's why it is mentioned time immemorial, we don't know about, but it's beginningless. From the very beginning, it has always been there, material nature and the living entities. Their transformations and the modes of matter are products of material nature. So we know that material world means material nature means there are transformations, changes. 6 kinds of changes we experience in material world. So all these transformations and modes of matters are products of material nature. So Satogun, Rajogun, Tamogun, all these are products of material nature. Whatever changes we experience in this material world, that is material nature, the product of material nature. Actually, soul is never changing. Only the body is changing because body is material. Nature is said to be the cause of all material causes and effects, whereas the living entity is the cause of the various sufferings and enjoyments in this world. Let's understand this point. Nature is said to be the cause of all material causes and effects. Whatever is happening in our life, in this material world, in this material nature, who is the cause? How it is happening? No, he is the ultimate cause. Ultimately, by his will, everything is happening. But if you see immediate cause, like we discussed about these topics earlier also, like there are 3 kinds of doers. 3 kinds of doers. Who are all these 3 kinds of doers are?
The desiring doer, sanctioning doer,
One is soul, means we, living entity, we are doer. And another, super soul, ultimate doer. And Prakriti, material nature, doer. So what is the role? The Jiva, the living entity, we only can desire. We desire, and then super soul is the sanctioning authority. Super soul sanction based on our previous karmas, based on our previous account, karmic account. It's not that whatever we desire, we will get it. Sometimes you see people say that law of attraction. Whatever you desire, just keep on thinking, you will get it. Yes? Does it work? Have you tried? It works.
Yes,
It's not false. It's true also. Because ultimately, whatever desire we have, based on our desire only we are getting bodies.
पर फिर उससे आप बनते नहीं है, you attachment नहीं होता.
No, the point which
Bondage.
I'm just giving an additional point, because law of attraction is very attractive. So many people, even so many popular books are there. People in material world, this is a science. It is working, but this is not the complete understanding. Bhagavad Gita is giving us complete understanding about law of attraction. One is like outside people, they think that okay, whatever you desire, just keep on thinking, feeling, willing, and the universe, universe will provide you. There's a movie called Secret. There's a, no. The movie and the book, very popular book, Secret.
Yes, I've heard
The Secret.
of it, but not read it.
That's a wonderful book. But again, what I'm saying, that is one part. Because ultimately, whatever we get, so here we are understanding not only the desire, but sanctioning. If super soul, if Paramatma, God is not sanctioning, no, that will not be fulfilled.
There are 3 very specific terms for them.
Huh?
Upadan or something like that. If you desire, वो first step है. देन लेकिन एक्सीडेंटल की वो चाहोगे भी तो भी गड़बड़ हो जाएगा इफ इट इज नॉट destined. There is very technical
No, anyway, our
Sanskrit
point is
terms.
same. Point is like because whatever we desire, that desire is going to be sanctioned by Paramatma based on our previous account. How much good activities, pious activities we have done, based on that only. Good karma, bad karma, whatever we have done, karmic account, based on that, super soul will sanction that. And then, based on that sanction, the Prakriti, Mother Nature, will execute that. So these are the three doers. So we are not the independent.
इसका कोई example प्रभु जी?
Huh?
How the Prakriti is helping?
Prakriti is like execution. Means Prakriti, with the help of three modes of material nature, she is executing. For example, let's say this body is matter,
Yes.
material nature, matter you can say, and you want to raise your hands up. So soul is desiring. Body is dead. Body is always dead. Only the existence or the presence of soul makes it functioning.
Right.
The soul desiring to lift this hand up, right? You desired, and then the super soul sanctioned it. And because super soul sanctioned, and then material nature, this material body is functioning, executing that desire. This body is functioning based on the desire of the super soul. And if this hand is paralyzed, even if you desire, super soul is not sanctioning, you will not be able to lift it up. I'm just giving you a crude example to understand. So desire is still there, but now because super soul is not sanctioning, and this material, because the power is not, because the material nature will only work by the permission of super soul. If super soul does not permit, the material nature is not going to work. The body is not going to work.
Every
Just like
activity is controlled by
electricity.
this phenomenon.
Yes, this is like activity, everything, whatever is happening.
Everything
Yes.
is controlled by this phenomenon.
Controlled by-
Somebody,
so-
that's what somebody in some pervachan I heard, that even if you desire to, let's say, go to some satsang or something, and you get, if it is not sanctioned, alarm what?
More, okay.
Or even if you go dress up, take your motorbike, you will find it's in reserve, or you will get an accident or something.
Yes.
If it is not sanctioned, somebody
Yeah,
was
that is-
explaining
that
it,
is.
and there were some terms I have forgotten.
Anyway, but the
Three
concept
different
is
things.
this. I mean, sanctioning, without sanction of God, we cannot. Now, but this another thing, another point.
बट जो गलत काम कर मतलब सपोज कोई क्रिमिनल होता है उसकी भी तो सैंक्शनिंग होती है.
Yes, even this is good point. Even people committing sin or doing sinful activity, they are also not independent. They are also being sanctioned by God only.
One
So-
more question, प्रभु जी.
हाँ.
जैसे एक बार आपने बोला था कि जो संस्कार और द कैरिड, वो तो जो हम आज हैं, अगर हमारे में कोई भाव है जो प्रोमिनेंट है या कुछ है, वो कहीं से प्रारब्ध, जो संस्कार हैं जो फॉलोइंग लाइफ टाइम्स के हैं. तो जैसे हम देखते हैं ये सोसाइटी में दे आर सम बैड पीपल, और उनका कुछ दे आर हैविंग गुड थिंग्स जो मटीरियलिस्टिक गुड वाली होती हैं वो, पर उन्होंने वो कौन से संस्कार, अगर हमारे सब चलते आ रहे हैं, जो आज अच्छा है तो पिछले जन्म में कुछ अच्छा होगा तभी तो
Yes.
कुछ थोड़ा है.
Yes.
जो आज बुरा है वो पीछे भी कहीं कुछ बुरा होगा तभी तो कोई कैरी ऑन कर रहा है. तो वो उसने जो बुरा रहते वो कौन सा था जो जिसका वो आज पा रहा है. जो संस्कार कैरी करते हैं तो हमारी अच्छाई भी अगर चल रही है और बुराई भी चल रही है, तो आज का वो बुरा वक्त और हमेशा घट ही रहा है, कुछ ना कुछ तो हम कमी ला रहे हैं अपने अंदर. तो उसने ऐसा कौन से वो एक या दो होंगे पुण्य जिसका वो आज बुरा होके भी बेहतर कुछ खा रहा है, और एक कुछ बेचारा सोसाइटी में गरीब, बहुत ही नेक, बहुत ही संस्कार है, परंतु उसको कुछ ना कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स है.
No, good. I mean, concept must be very much clear that ultimately whatever in our life happening is happening because of our good or bad karmas. So, and we know that what for our good karmas we are getting good result, for our bad karmas we are getting bad result. अब वो दोनों साथ साथ चलते हैं. No, it's not like that. Once you will finish your good karmas, then the bad karmas will start. So even both going on parallelly. So, and that is what means prediction of that when you are enjoying or suffering, or when you are going to enjoy and suffer of the karmas, that is kahana karmano gati. Krishna is saying it's very difficult to predict, it's very difficult to understand, but the concept is very clear that uh, for our good karmas we are getting good results, bad karmas we are getting bad results. And as you said, like samskara, that is very deep rooted. अब यहाँ पे हम जो बात कर रहे हैं कि like God, He is the permitter. Either good people or bad people, whatever activity they are doing, ultimately they are doing by the sanction of Krishna only or Paramatma only, right? So अब यहाँ पे एक कॉन्सेप्ट और जो कि हमें ऐसा लग रहा है, जैसे कई बार लोग बोलते हैं ना कि भगवान चाहेंगे तब, जैसे हम बोलते हैं ना कि ओके प्लीज कम, और भगवान की इच्छा हो
मतलब
So-
भगवान बुलाएंगे किसी धाम पे
हाँ।
तभी हम जा सकते हैं।
So yes, we are learning this concept that without sanction, means Paramatma is the sanctioning authority. Without His sanction, nothing will happen. Right? That is true. But where from it is starting? First, it is starting from our desire. No? Our desire, we have free will for that. What we desire. Otherwise, we will say that okay, if everything is destined, everything is being done by the Paramatma only, then okay, when Paramatma will call me, then I will go. So that is not that is an excuse kind of. So yes, we are destined based on our karmic reaction, but we should always remember that we always have free will. Free will is never checked. I mean, that is always there with us. Maybe because of our previous bad karmas, we are suffering, or we are getting some adverse, we are being put into adverse condition. But how to respond, that is always there with us. Because of previous karmas, we have faced suffering in present, but our response will decide our future. So how we respond to the situation, that is more important. So that free will is always there with us.
प्रभु जी, suppose there is a person who has committed a murder. उसका free will था तो उसने अपना use किया. पर जिसका murder हुआ, that means उसके में भी वो लिखा हुआ था. मतलब वो उसके कर्मा के हिसाब से.
Yes. That is true. Anybody doing or
It
anybody.
doesn't seem very nice, but.
No, that is not nice. Even these are the good points we need to understand. See, understand why we are studying spirituality. Why these concepts we are making. Because we are trying to understand what is the benefit of these spiritual concepts, right? This is very important concept. So, law of karma, anybody or anything happening in our life, this is one concept we should be very much clear that nobody is responsible for that. Only the person is responsible. And this is very hard statement. It's not easy to accept. But when in our practical life, when we implement this concept, it's not that if somebody is suffering and you go and say, oh, it is all because of your karma. This is insensible, right? So you cannot say that and okay, let the person suffer. This is not right way. We know that, yeah, that is what the real cause, but we should help. We should try our best to help the person. Sometimes people become fanatic with this knowledge also. That okay, because people are suffering because of their karma, let them suffer. No. We should do our service. We should do our service. We should help people. Maybe because of whatever reason the person is suffering.
This knowledge is not to look outward what other is feeling, but to look inward what we are. Whatever misery we are having, it is because of whatever karma we did. So it is more to improve ourselves and be better.
Yes, of course. Spirituality is to develop ourselves, develop our consciousness. That's what we were reading about, different qualities of knowledge. Humility is the first one. If after getting this kind of knowledge, if you become hard-hearted, what is the use of that knowledge? Humility, being humble. Yeah, we don't have to be emotional. We have to understand the reality. No, we have to, but at the same time, if somebody is suffering, somebody is in diseased condition, suffering. So doctor, this is the, if doctor starts hating, doctor means one has somebody who knows about it. That okay, because of this bad habits, you develop this disease. And because of that, if I start hating you, no, we should not hate the person. We should hate the disease and we should help the person to cure that disease. That is what humility. Huh? So, yes, uh, we must be very much sensitive about the situation, but we must be aware of the concept also, the philosophy also. And based on that, how we can help the person to come out of the problem permanently. Instead of, if we are not knowing these concepts, then we may do some temporary patchwork, some temporary service. So immediate, some service is required, some temporary service is required to help the person. That we have to do. At the same time, we have to give this permanent solution. Permanent solution. Okay, because of whatever previous activities or karmas some happening. Now we have to do something, or we have to live a life so that we can be always free from all such sufferings. No, we can achieve the ultimate perfection of life. So the soul, super soul, and relation. So what Krishna is saying now, the living entity in this material world thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. Yes. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus, he meets with good and evil among various species. So now, like the living entity, because we are in this material world and we are leading a material way of life. So way of life, material way of life means when we are under the clutches of three modes of material nature, sometimes in mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. And what is happening when under the clutches of this material influence? When we are being influenced, sometimes good, sometimes bad, or sometimes happiness, sometimes suffering. This is going on. So this is whenever, means when we are in material way of life, when we are in material world, so these things will go on because of the three modes of material nature. Yet in this body there is another, a transcendental enjoyer. So now in these two shlokas, like Prakriti, we discuss about Prakriti, nature, so which is subordinate to the super soul or God, which is working under the guidance of God. That is, we must be very much clear, and it is temporary. Temporary means it is manifesting, it is unmanifesting. So this is the material nature. And there are two enjoyers of Purusha. Purusha means enjoyer. So there are two Purushas, like we discussed, living entity and the super soul, not body.
Living entity.
Living entity.
So
Purusha
living
means,
entity
when it
is
comes
a
to
body.
Purusha,
Living
soul.
entity is a body.
When it comes to living entity, Jivatma means Atma. Body is one thing, yes, including, you can say that body and soul, both together we say living, but living entity means Jivatma, soul. Body is material, soul is eternal, is spiritual. So here it is mentioned, Updrishta Anumanta cha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara Paramatmeti cha Yukto Dehe Asmin Purusha Para. Yet in this body there is another, a transcendental enjoyer, who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor, who exists as the overseer and permitter, and who is known as the super soul. This is very important shloka. So like this body, we are the owner of this body. Like the soul is the owner of this body, proprietor of this body. But it is mentioned this, in this body there is another, a transcendental enjoyer, who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor, who exists as the overseer and permitter, super soul. So not only soul is there within this body, but there is super soul, and he is the master of all bodies. We know about this body, but very limited knowledge we have about this body. Our knowledge is very limited, right? Our control is very limited. We may desire, but we cannot control, right? We are growing old. of whatever different diseases we cannot control. But when it comes to the soul is also trying to enjoy, because being a part and parcel of super soul, we have the same nature, the same quality. Because Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, we also have that enjoying propensity, right? So the same propensity here in material world, the soul is trying to enjoy through this body, through this matter. So means the soul is also the owner of this body, but the ultimate owner is super soul, is God. We are just like a tenant. It's a temporary kind of residence.
Caretaker.
This is a caretaker. We should be very much clear with this. I mean, we should always remember this, that I'm just a caretaker. I'm just like a tenant. We have been given this facility by God, and as long as we have, we should utilize it in such a way so that we can achieve the destination or the final goal of our life. Because we cannot stay back. We want to stay back in this material world, in this material body, but no one can stay back. After over a period of time, we will be kicked out, even if we do not want to go out of this body, but we will be kicked out. And based on, then we will get next body. So soul and super soul both is there. And in Kathopanishad, there's a beautiful analogy of a tree and two birds on a tree. One bird is compared to soul and another bird is compared to super soul. One bird eating the fruits and this another bird, super soul, just observing the activities of the another bird. So here, super soul, what is his activity? Upadrishta Anumanta. Upadrishta means overseer. He is observing our every activity, our thoughts. No, we cannot escape. Even we are alone, but super soul is always there with us. So he is observing us. And permitter. He is the sanctioning authority. Yes, he is super soul. One who understands this philosophy concerning material nature, the living entity, and the interaction of the modes of nature is sure to attain liberation. Understand this. Means these three things, if you understand, you are liberated. What are those things? Philosophy concerning what? Material nature. Now we know about material nature, different elements, and its interaction. Different elements we know about. Bhumi, Jal, Agni, Vayu, Akash, mind, intelligence, false ego. These are all material elements. And we also could see the interactions. Its interaction. Means relation. Material nature, the living entity, and the interaction of the modes of nature is sure to attain liberation. He will not take birth here again, regardless of his present position. Very nice. I mean, very important to understand. Means this is the crux, you can say, why we are putting so much effort to understand a spiritual life, or why we are practicing a spiritual life. So this understanding, especially in Bhagavad Gita, whatever subject matter we are studying, there are 5 major subject matter. And if you understand these 5 subject matter, practice, it will solve all the questions, or it is said that you can answer all existential question about life. There will be you will understand that what is happening and why it is happening in my life. So understanding God, understanding living entity, understanding material nature, understanding time and law of karma. These are the 5 subject matter we are studying. Yes. And having clear concept about these 5 will solve all the questions about life. We will not raise question. That question means we will see everything in very clearly. What is happening, why it is happening. Then we will go in right direction. We will take right decision. Yes, right choice. We will develop right desires. Yeah. This is called knowledge. Otherwise, we will develop wrong desires, material desires, attachment to material things. So, relation means interaction. Here it is mentioned like this concerning material nature, the living entity, and the interaction of the modes of material nature. So we know that prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasa ahankar vimudhatma kartahamiti manyate. Out of ignorance, the living entity thinks that I am the doer, I am the enjoyer, I am the proprietor. This is ignorance. But ultimately, the living entity in this material world is being controlled by the three modes of material nature. Mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. We are just becoming an instrument in the hands of Maya, and the Maya controlling us with these three modes. So as long as we are under the clutches of Maya and under the three modes, sometimes because of our good karmas we will get good results, sometimes and because of our bad karmas we will. So hankering and lamentation, suffering and joy will continue. Yes, a little bit of joy and then more suffering. This is the nature of material world, and that's why Krishna is teaching us that we have to become transcendental to the three modes of material nature. Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna. We have to raise ourselves above the three modes, above material platform. And that is known as transcendental platform. Transcendental platform means then I am not being controlled by my mind, because mind is the representative of Maya. Yes?
ये तीनों गुण तमो भाव रजो भाव भी हमारे के सोल के साथ चिपके हुए होते हैं and they keep
Soul is independent of all these things.
It's
But
independent.
right now in this material, this is what conditioning. Because we are in this, the soul is in this body, and soul has forgotten that I am spiritual, I am part and parcel of God. Now the soul is identifying itself to this body, and because of that body, this body and this being dragged by the three modes.
नहीं, what she means is वो जो
जैसे-
तीन गुण है वो सटल बॉडी जब हमारा न्यू बर्थ होता है तो वो वही वाले गुण हमारे में दोबारा से आते हैं, पिछले वाले.
उसी प्रोपोर्शन में कम ज्यादा
Okay, understand now. Got it. See, three modes. This is the quality of material nature, material world. Whoever in this material world, everybody, every living entity, everything is influenced by the three modes. Understand this. We all have these three modes. Means we are being influenced. Mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance is there with us. But sometimes mode of goodness is prominent, sometimes mode of passion is prominent, sometimes mode of ignorance is prominent. Mode of ignorance and mode of passion is lower modes, and mode of goodness is higher mode. So as long as you are in mode of goodness, there will be happiness in life. When you go, means when lower modes are prominent, mode of ignorance, mode of passion, then more suffering is there, more disease is there, more anxiety and stress is there. And that's why it is recommended, at least whichever, we should always try to be in mode of goodness. In chapters.
नहीं, अब probably
वही मैं समझने की कोशिश कर रही हूँ. ये जो बर्थ एंड डेथ का साइकिल है, एवरी टाइम वी आर कमिंग विद वन सोल पर्पस टू
Yes.
elevate ourselves and get rid of whatever bondages
Yes.
that we have
Yes.
to ultimately attain
Yes.
the Golok Dham and the lotus feet of Shri Krishna. तो when see अगर हम आत्मन को कहें, वो एक संस्कार के कारण एक जगह एक्सीडेंटली नहीं आता. It's destined to come in to certain parent, to certain thing, and then उसकी एक अपनी personality होती है which is reflected due to the birth. अब वो एक personality है, उसमें ये गुण का आते जाते रहते हैं, but कहीं ना कहीं कोई dominance में रहता है किसी वक्त.
Yes.
तो वो भी क्या हमारे साथ धीरे धीरे कहीं ना कहीं एक baggage होता है.
No, that is always there with us. Point is, because as long as we are in material world, these modes are influencing our karmas, our decision, our thought process. Everything is being influenced by these three modes only. So now these three modes are changing based on your time, place, circumstances. particular influence. Like when you are in association with devotees, your mode of goodness will improve. You, like when you go to the temple, no, it's not fixed one. It will keep on changing, and that will influence you to do a particular kind of work. That is what means we whatever activities we are doing under the influence of these three modes. If we are in mode of goodness, our thought process, our eating habits, sleeping habits, or whatever activities we are doing, that will be influenced by that. People in mode of passion, that is what they will have a different mindset, very aggressive, very all these things we are going to discuss in next topic again. That will be there. Chapter 14 is about three modes only, more detail about. So we will see, and that is very, very important chapter. And point is, whatever action we are doing is influenced by these only. So what we have to do, first of all, because we have to know that when we know that mode of goodness is wherein we can lead a very peaceful, happy life.
That is
So
the
we have
struggle
to,
that I feel that किस तरह से इनसे दूर हो सके. I mean, how
that is what Krishna is teaching us.
इसलिए
The
तो
point
भक्ति
is,
करनी है.
huh?
इसलिए भक्ति करनी है.
That's what we are reading Bhagavad Gita, no? And regularly, constantly, if we are practicing, it's not just theoretical knowledge. Krishna is giving step by step everything, how we can elevate. Maybe if mode of ignorance is more prominent, first of all, we are creating awareness that if as long as we are in this lower mode, we are going to suffer more because people not knowing about it. Mode of ignorance means, if you see, Bhagavad Gita is explaining, laziness is there. More sleeping means people they just eat and sleep, and what they are eating without any discrimination. They are eating something which is untouchable, which is means toxic, like alcohol, meat eating. This is in mode of ignorance. But people not knowing, in the name of so-called modernization, people enjoy this. They're not knowing that this is tamas. This is lower mode, and they are going to suffer for this. So first of all, when we become aware, and then we learn how to elevate from mode of ignorance to mode of goodness. And mode of goodness, that sato guna, sattva, that is the platform where from we can take interest in spirituality. People in mode of passion and ignorance will not be able to understand this subject matter. If even mode of passion will drag you, so much of attraction, like Krishna is explaining, mode of passion means having so many material desire. The person is just running, hankering and lamentation. That is the part in mode of passion. Yes.
Prabhuji, supposing like we have come and we attend, we are trying to elevate ourselves, but like you're saying, you keep on trying to, and the more you do, the jada, you rise in the mode of goodness. But sometimes, many times, like practical life doesn't allow you that much time and that much as you would like to be dedicated. So because of our circumstances and everything, and that cannot be changed.
Yes.
So that hinders the progress. I mean, many times, like many times.
Yes.
So because we are, like you saying, we are in grihast.
Yes, of course.
So we have to. Like just some solution to that.
No, of course. The solution is like now we are learning. We know that okay, this is what the practice or the process we need to practice to advance. And because of our situations, we are not able to give that much time, or we are not able to do that much practice. That is, of course, a challenge. But the point here is that because we want to solve the problem, and of course, we have to take out some time. We have to prioritize. We have to see what is really important for us. And advancement is not just because of how much time I'm giving. Advancement is sincerity. Whatever concept we are learning, if we have learned it and we are sincerely practicing, somebody may be able to give 2 hours, 3 hours every day. Somebody may be able to give only 10 minutes, 20 minutes. But out of those 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever process is given over here, how sincerely I'm practicing that process. Srila Rupa Goswami is saying that advancement in Krishna consciousness is based on attitude. Even you keep on doing all these things, but if you are not developing that sincere desire to advance in Krishna consciousness, only mechanically just you are doing, or some ulterior, some other motives, some other reason, So you will not get that benefit. You will get some benefit. At least being in association with devotees, knowingly, unknowingly, purification is going on. That is the best part. But if you are sincere, whatever we are discussing, if you are understanding it and then having right motives, means real purpose, why we are doing all these things. There are so many purposes in spirituality. Somebody may do it for some peace, some satisfaction, some ritual, some maybe social status, some gain. So many things are there. But here Krishna is teaching us the topmost purpose. That is love. Developing Krishna consciousness is the topmost gain, topmost achievement. So,
saying if the intention is there, but you cannot do say,
no issues.
16 rounds,
At least
you
you
are
try
doing
your best.
10 or
You
6.
try your best. And of course, practical challenges, whatever is coming, then sincere desire means at least, and then we should discuss with our mentor or whoever that this is what the problem I'm facing. Then, because one is general education and one is specific, that is what when we discuss one to one and we find out some other solution, how to do that. Like many people may not do that. Like I remember one story, Srila Prabhupada, when he was building that Mumbai temple, Juhu temple. So, what was the name that person? Mr. Somebody, I mean, he helped Prabhupada because that time there was a dispute and the people were trying to destroy the temple. Some Sethiji or something was there. And he was not able to chant, and he took the responsibility to protect the temple. He took a gun and he was standing over there and just protecting the temple. And Prabhupada said, because you are protecting temple, you are helping me to building this temple, and Krishna has already made a building for you in Goloka. Anyway, so understand the point. Means that's why when we were reading the 20 elements, the two most important elements, one is approaching a spiritual master. We are not qualified to go beyond this material modes. Devi Prakritim. No, sorry, what Krishna is saying? This Maya Shakti is Maya energy, is very difficult to overcome. Mame vaye prapadyanti maya metam taranti. Only the person who is taking shelter of Krishna only can overcome this. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Mind is very powerful. Mind is very powerful. Mind is representative of Maya as of now. So it's very difficult to overcome. Mind will trick you. Mind will give you so many reasons not to come or not to. Means so many things will come. And for us also, like sometimes now the season is changing, it's too cold, going to Mangalarti is very difficult job. But I see when we have flight, you are 2 hours, you have to reach 2 hours ahead over there at airport. You are ready, everything you do that. So remember, mind is tricking. We are very strong, we are very powerful. It's all our mind has conditioned us. No, it's too late, it's too early, why are you doing like this? So I'm not saying that overnight this change will come. But sincerity means, okay, if I have some faith in this process, in this education, let me try. Because without pain, no gain. And this is what called austerity. When you take volunteer, when you do volunteer tapasya or some sacrifice, that is called austerity. Nobody wants to get out of comfort zone. But if you really want to gain something, then you have to come out of it. Yes, and this devotees association will help. When we are in association, constantly in association, reading, hearing, chanting is going on, we will see that difference, right? And otherwise, it's very difficult. Yeah, thank you so much. So we'll stop here. So this is the sloka we close. Verse number 24. One who understands this philosophy concerning material nature, the living entity, and the interaction of the modes of nature is sure to attain liberation. He will not take birth here again, regardless of his present position. Regardless of his present position. Whatever we have done in previous lives, nothing to worry about. Because the moment we understand the nature, our true identity, about God, our relationship with God, and we take shelter, Krishna is saying, I will free from all sins. So whatever happened, forget about it. But at least understand this reality and just take shelter. Yeah. So next session we will conclude this chapter, and we'll start 14th chapter, which is very, very means practical, means all the topics are very much practical, but this will show a clear picture what we are right now and how we can progress. So 3 modes of material nature, how it is controlling, how it is impacting our different parts of life. We will discuss about it. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
So any question we can take personally. Yes, we can discuss about it. Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Prahlada Lada Daine. Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha. Shilachankanakalaya. Ito Nasingha Parato Nasingha. Yato yato yami tato Nasingha. Vahir Nasingha Hridaye Nasingha. Narasimhamadin Sharanam Prapade. Tava Kar Kamalabhare Naka Adbhuta Shinga Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubhingam Keshavadrita Hari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare. Jai Jagadish Hare. Jai Jagadish Hare. Jai Nrsimhadev, 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 Jai Nrsimhadev. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jai Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada. Jai Jai Gurudev, Gurudev, Gurudev. Jai Jai Gurudev. Prem se Ganesh Bhagwan ki jai, Bhakta Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.